Well, hey, good morning, gamers of all sizes, shapes, colors. I don't know what I'm getting at. Anyway, Adam Blue here, professional video game enjoyer for the past, 30 years or more. Love talking about video games, video game industry, have a lot to say. So we'll be jumping into some news shortly. A lot of it has to do with the Xbox Spring Indie Game Showcase, so some announcements there. But yeah, let's first talk about what I got into, which, wasn't too much actually. So first of all, Sulfur, which I think I saw this being played during that Xbox Indie Showcase, but then when I was checking a site we'll look at in a second that was listing games, this wasn't on there. Anyway, demo is available to play. It's pretty interesting. Let me see if there's... Here we go. We could probably play this to kind of show off what it looks like. So what do we have here? I don't know yet. I think it's a roguelike. As you see, this guy's entering caves. And it's a first-person shooter, but the graphics are very minimalist, almost like a deliberate like cartoon look. And not even necessarily that it's supposed to look like old graphics, just like cartoon look. In it played fine. There was just very little going on, very little action. Hold on. Wow, it's like I can feel the sneeze coming in. But no, it had very little action, so I was just kind of bored as I was walking through, and it was more like there wasn't really a lot to do out front. I was just kind of exploring, figure things out, and sure, I could get back to that. I just was like, okay, I think I tried enough for now. I'm not really feeling this yet, but it might be worth it. Free demo. I might jump into it again some more. Another interesting thing about it is the music. So the trailer had some really cool music, and then when I was playing the game, it also had some more additional cool music, but different styles. So that's I don't know if that trailer music is in the game, but just all the music I've heard along with this has been really well done, really well produced. So just another aspect of games I like is music. So yeah, curious to see what that's about. So hey, it's a free demo, Sulfur. Might as well check it out. It also has this cool like kind of cultish vibe to it. We see a lot of religious looking symbolism. There's a lot to do with blood, cults, witches, churches. Yeah, I think your main base is a church. So interesting stuff. Even like we look at this image here, it's like a sandworm coming out of the ground, and there's bad guys on top of it. The one level the one stage I was playing was inside a cave. Yeah, it'd be cool to see what more comes from this. So yeah, that's that. Other than that, yesterday, my gaming time was actually then just playing some more Harmony of Dissonance. In fact, like my wife wanted to watch a Disney movie. I didn't really want to, but I sat on the couch with her anyway. Sorry, my morning sinuses. But no, and then so yeah, I again grab this little fella that's super handy and started getting back into Harmony of Dissonance, which I did beat, but then during a recent, if you watch some of the previous videos when I'm getting the retro handhelds and trying to do the syncing across, I accidentally deleted a save, but it was far into the game, so it was near the end anyway. I'm just replaying that to have that save completed, because then I want to go in and get the rest of the retro achievements for Harmony of Dissonance. And that's a fun game. I've talked about it on here, but Harmony of Dissonance is a good type of Castlevania. It plays different than some of the others, but it's still good. Okay. Let's jump into the news, but first, just really quick, we're going to look at like the stuff from the Xbox Spring Indie Game Showcase. Okay, so there's a bunch of interesting things that look interesting, but not enough to pull me in, especially sometimes if gameplay looks like something I've done before. There have to be something that stuck out, like that Sulfur game. Something with that stuck out, and it happened to be the music. With this, Vampire Survivors, it's crazy. I know I brought this up before, how, Konami, Vampire Survivors takes a lot from Castlevania in terms of design, weapons, not necessarily the way the game plays, because it's Castlevania's side scroller. This is more of that survivor type, and the top down. But then they have this like Contra, collaboration in Konami is Contra. It's just so weird how they chose to collaborate with Contra instead of Castlevania. It seems like Castlevania would be obvious, but it could be maybe because it looks too much already like what's happening in Vampire Survivors. It might be hard for people to understand the difference. So then Konami must have, I'm sure this company went to Konami. It's like, hey, can we get some Castlevania collabs going on? They're like, how about Contra? To kind of differentiate itself, to get people that are already Castlevania fans, maybe to get them into Contra. That's what I'm assuming. And what's cool about Vampire Survivors is you can, do the cloud streaming. So it's like I can play this on my Xbox, my PC, and I can download it on a handheld or stream it on a handheld. So that's just an example of, Microsoft doing the right thing. Anyway, all you need is help. That looked interesting. It almost looked like a physics-based Tetris game, but more of like a 3D Tetris, I guess. I don't know if I would play that, but it looked neat. Dungeons of Hinterberg, another, there's a lot of these games that have these like third-person crafting Zelda-like feels to them. Unless there's something interesting that stands out about it, I usually pass. That Immortals Phoenix Rising, the reason I wanted to play that is because it was like, okay, we're just going to double down on the Zelda-ness. So there wasn't the crafting, any of that. It was like a straight-up action-adventure game. I'm just bringing that up because I liked that game, and it was going to have a sequel, and then they canceled it. Okay, let's see. The Rewinder that you could play today, that actually, and it's on Game Pass. Oh, it wasn't on Game Pass earlier, so it must have just went on Game Pass. This doesn't look like my type of game, but considering it's got a free demo, and it's $7.49, it really just looked like an adventure game, and I don't know what some of the action is, but from what I saw, there was just, it looks like it's moments of things, again, making it feel like it's an adventure style game. Oh yeah, it says adventure, mystery, puzzle. Yeah, it's one of those. It's those old school, like, point and click adventures. So yeah, I don't know if that can necessarily grab me, but it's cool, and you know what? It even looks like the old point and click adventures. So yeah, that's cool. Someone out there is going to want to play that, right? Let's see what else. Centum. Is that what that says? Centum official. I don't remember. Okay, this seems to be another kind of puzzly point and click, and it has to do with it being indie. A lot of these games are going to be kind of treading, water that we've been in before. This is neat. It's a cyberpunk game, but it's like turn-based. Graphics look awesome, but it's just a tactical turn-based game. And I say just, there's probably someone that really wants to play that. I think after, the 90s, where there was a lot of these CD-based games that you could get for PC, like crazy. We would go to any electronics store and you could just buy a thing of CDs and it's just games. I remember just playing what were essentially indie games, all different types. And then I think we saw that again with console in like the late 2000s, early 2010s. We got things from Braid, Fez to Super Meat Boy. And then I feel like I was so into that scene that I think I kind of fell out of it. So when a indie retro style game comes out, there's a lot more to what I'm looking for it to do. Maybe it's based on an IP. Maybe it has some cool music. 33 Immortals. This is an example of something doing something a little more interesting, because this is where it's 33 players. It looks like top down hack and slash, which again I might be like, okay, I've played those, but with the 33 players, that's actually pretty neat. So, I can see myself trying that. Power World is getting an update. I haven't played this yet. Will I? I don't know. Because when I was just talking about games to do things that are unique, I don't think I've played a game like Pal World, where you are not only are you crafting and building, but you're collecting monsters at the same time. So there's a lot of unique stuff going on there. Will I ever play it? I don't know, but it looks cool. And I think that's it. Yeah, it was funny. So Silk Song is a game. It's a sequel, The Hollow Knight, and it's something people have been waiting for. And then during the live stream of the Indie Showcase, people were just spamming Silk Song, which this is an example of another one of those games where I played it. It just seems like a lesser Metroidvania, and I feel bad. I forgot how far I got into it, but I just could not get into it. And but people are excited about a sequel. And again, I believe this is just when a new generation of gamers have an experience that has existed, but they haven't experienced it before until now. And so I can't disregard that. I can't disregard that there's going to be newer players that have newer experiences. And then you can only hope that maybe this gets them then into the Castlevanias, starts a resurgence. Konami comes back with a new one. You know how it is. So I would say in general, for me, the Indie Showcase was rather boring and bland. But I think in general and I would assume it's the people not watching this, the people that just want something to play on their Xbox, Game Pass. Xbox has a lot of interesting games. They always do. And that's the thing that differentiates them from Sony. Sony will come out with the one badass, highly produced AAA game. Microsoft has all these interesting, smaller indie games, but then there's more to choose from. And because of that, I play Game Pass more than I play on my PlayStation. Also, Game Pass works on PC. So, okay. Let's go into some news. So, Rise of the Ronin's launch sales are surpassing Nioh, according to Koei Tecmo, and that's good. I would expect that, kind of like Dark Souls to Elden Ring, Nioh to Rise of Ronin. Even after Wo Long, it seems like Rise of the Ronin's closer to a Nioh. I love Nioh. The first Nioh, amazing. Second one is cool. They added this new mechanic, and I was kind of like, Actually, I never even beat the first Nioh. There are so many levels in that, and to unlock. And I guess maybe I beat what's just required to beat it, but in terms of everything to play in Nioh, I haven't played through everything. And the Nioh 2, I hadn't either. I could see myself going back to these sometime. But Rise of the Ronin, I really want to play. The difference here is they took Nioh, and from what I've read and heard, I haven't played it, and they scaled back the difficulty and put you in an open world environment. That sounds like a great idea. So I'll get to that eventually. Just, it's too similar to recent experiences I've had where I would just pass on that for now. Okay. 49% of UK gamers probably won't buy GTA 6. That's a weird headline. Oh, does it have to do with the age or answering a... It's interesting. Like, I don't know. I find it interesting to spend time to do a survey on if you will or not buy GTA 6. Stellar Blade's Eve will stare you out for admiring her. Interesting. What does that mean? Okay, one Reddit user uploaded a video showing them manipulating the camera to admire Eve's outfit from various angles. After a few seconds, Eve snaps her gaze down, staring directly into the camera and following it as it pans around, breaking the fourth wall and fully acknowledging that, yes, she knows exactly what you're doing. That's cool. I don't know if that's news, but that's interesting. Although, speaking about breaking the fourth wall, that was the cool thing about Super Mario 64 when it came out. The camera, because you controlled it, was a character. That would be actually interesting if they did that in here, where the drone that follows you around was actually the camera. In fact, that would have been a smarter play. and maybe that would tie into the character development between them two, but I don't know. Adam and Eve, I haven't. That's one thing I like about Stellar Blade, how much Eve says Adam, calls me. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. How Sonic Mania paved the way for Penny's Big Breakaway. Penny's Big Breakaway. That's a game I need to play. Made by the Sonic Mania developers, or it was this interesting time where it was, you had this indie group kind of show, or I think it was an individual showing how good they could make a Sonic game, and then I think Sega had hired them for some work. Then they made their own game. They made Freedom Planet. I think this is the same team. And then Penny's Big Breakaway, which is more of a 3D. I'd love to play it. I haven't got to that yet. Shattered Space coming to Starfield. Yet no one cared. Crazy. This game, I remember when it was announced, I was like, this looks awesome, but this is Bethesda. How are we? And the only thing then that got me excited was, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Microsoft is picking this up. It's going to be an exclusive. And I don't mean picking this up. It's just during that time where Microsoft was really, figuring out what to do with their games. We were thinking, okay, Starfield might be that game. And then I got myself hyped, and then I played it, and I was like, nah, this is just that same old jank. I mean, I know a lot of people like it. It's kind of like, some people have the capacity for some sort of like bare bones, like, okay, you're in this other world, and then that's fine. For me, I need a lot more immersion, especially when it comes to the mechanics and how I'm interacting with the environment. There's a lot of things that can just break me from the experience. A lot of times it's when a game is not strong in its mechanics, but it's trying to be with the narrative, so it's hoping that will keep you around, and that doesn't keep me around for games. So, and it's interesting. This is kind of universally, people agree, this is kind of a dud. Starfield was a dud. I think a lot more could have came out of that. I am shocked, like, how it came together when it was going to be such a big deal. And I wonder, it's just like hype. Like, how much in these cycles of game releases do developers hype things like, oh, this is really next gen. This is gonna, and they could have said, no, we're just using the same stuff as before and making it in the space, but you can't do that. So the publishers put themselves in this tight corner. Steven, good to see you. Bethesda has awful AI design. Yeah, I remember when I played the first Oblivion, I think it was, and it was like you get out of a jail, and then I forget what it was that happened. I had to hit something, or I accidentally hit a guy, and then he turned on me. It started attacking me, and I was like, it was like immediate. It was like, if I'm role playing something I did as an accident, I can't like justify to the game. The game then has its, on off switch. Hit good guy, now you're bad. And it's like, well, no. And so that just took me out of what it was trying to do, and then I didn't keep playing. Square Enix looks to have canceled games, stating it will be more selective in the future. Oh yeah, that's common. Bandai Namco announced that they had canceled a bunch of games. Yeah. Another Crab's Treasure sells 100,000 in 4 days. So that's the game I was talking about yesterday. Good for it. If you are into Souls games and want a little brighter and easier experience, it's literally Dark Souls with a crab. Hi-Fi Rush has been rated for Nintendo Switch. Cool. Good for them. Starfield console mod support is still coming, claims Todd Howard. Oh, that's interesting, just to think how the game didn't launch with that, yet it launched in being delayed as a basic game. And I sometimes I feel like I'm kind of rude with my takes on Starfield, but I feel like there was potential there that was completely not met, especially a video game for 2023. All right, Discord bans accounts that sold messages from users of up to 620 million users. Dang. Okay. Interesting. So, yeah, they have bots that scrape the chat messages. You get information from people. You could sell it. Dang, that's crazy. All right. Webinar about TikTok. I don't care. One Last Breath XS. Huh. sounds interesting. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, they brought up Inside. It looks like that. That could be cool. Yeah, I haven't heard of that, actually. Let's see. Oh, the whole article is on this thing. Okay. Todd Howard says Bethesda is focused on finding ways to increase its output. I don't know if that's the issue. So, okay. The company hasn't ruled out partnering with external developers on future games. Yeah, like having Obsidian do a new game. Tencent raises its stake in Remedy to 14%. Huh, so what are they up to? That's interesting. Yeah, I wonder what Remedy's next thing is. I wonder if their next thing, while they're probably working on their own game, I'm wondering if they are actually working on something kind of like that scratch your back, scratch my back. Like, now that they know how to use Unreal Engine 5 really well, it was being showcased with Alan Wake, exclusive on Epic. We're now seeing an increase in its stake from Tencent. Makes me think they're working on something else. I wonder what that would be. I mean, other than like Alan Wake 3 or Control 2 or something like that. Oh yeah, and then that, I think we talked about this yesterday, Switch 2 to have 1080p screen. Backwards compatibility would make sense. Yeah, not fun stuff to sit here and like go on about, or anything to trigger me into some other discussion. Yeah, I think that's about it. Kind of a slow news start of the week, and even with games to play, I'm just kind of searching real quick before we go to see if any other interesting news has come up. Square Enix expects loss of 140 million from canceled video games. Okay. Actually, I could probably refresh my feed and see if anything new has popped up. Stellar Blade has 2024's highest Metacritic user score so far. It beat Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Persona 3 Reload. Interesting. It is a fun game. I think I'm going to be playing it a lot more. Okay, so a new Vampire Survivors update is out now. And the Operation Guns DLC is on the 9th. Which, yeah, lots added to the game, which is pretty crazy. Oh, yeah, and then I saw that, yeah, that Tales of Iron 2, Whiskers of Winter gameplay. It looks neat, like a side-scrolling, yeah, they're calling it adventure RPG, where I think you're a mouse and you fight bats. Humanity is headed to Xbox Series XS. Interesting. I thought that was a PlayStation. Yeah, I thought that was a PlayStation exclusive. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, things are just slowly not being exclusive anymore. So does that mean it was not published by Sony? Let me see. I'm kind of curious about that. Humanity, yeah, game. Developers. So Enhanced, THA Limited. Oh, it says Windows. So was this? Oh, so this has this been on PC then, and I didn't know. Oh no. Oh yeah, for a year. Okay. Although I guess that would make sense. I guess okay, because this was made by a Sony or not that it was made by a Sony. It was on. That's what it was on the PlayStation Plus thing. That's what it was. Okay, so that explains that. Let's see. Anything else? No, just, details from the Xbox showcase, just some indie games. some Switch stuff. I don't even know what I'm going to title this. Oh, Control multiplayer spin-off game Condor enters full production. So that could answer what I was talking about before with Tencent putting 14% more stake into Remedy. It looks like because they have a multiplayer game coming out. That is neat. That is neat. I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. I guess, almost 15. These headlines. No, but yeah, kind of a boring, super boring week for games. Hopefully found some of that interesting. Yeah, that's about it. Well, have a good rest of the day. We'll talk tomorrow morning. See y'all.